Hello, everyone! And just a few days ago, the first part of episode 109 of Skibidi Wars by Verlance finally came out after one whole month of waiting. And by the way, if you're wondering why Verlance takes it so long recently to make new Skibidi Wars episodes, let me remind you that The Blood is actually working on his new series too, at the moment, which is called Void Storm. And it's not really connected to Skibidi Toilet Universe, but it's a completely unique project which is around to be released this spring or summer. That being said, the Skibidi Wars series is near its end this year, and I think that soon I will start analyzing something new on my channel. But for now, we're in for episode 109, where a lot of borderline crazy stuff just happened. Will Camera Woman actually be saved, and what hides behind the hybrid woman persona that badly hurt her? What new upgrades did Sonar Titan got? And most importantly, what is the true form of the Plague Toilet looks like, and why the whole alliance is about to be in the really big trouble? So if you want to know the answers to all these questions, then get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end, because I saved the best part for later, just as always. Let's go. But considering that the full season 25 was posted 2 whole months ago, let me quickly remind you of everything that happened in the series before so you could understand what has actually been going on in the last couple of episodes. So, Season 25 included several secret scenes that got some essential information regarding the current plot arc of this multiverse involving the Plague Toilet and other characters too. So the first secret scene took place after the Titans of the Alliance had a battle Sonar Titan, who broke free from the Necromancer's control in the end. Each Titan was assigned to defend certain bases where the Administrator's keys were hidden. But Titan TV Man had a personal mission about finding his long-lost little brother. So he tracked him to the Necromancer's lair, only to find his brother's destroyed body. Overcome with rage, he destroyed nearby enemies before teleporting away with the body of his brother, seemingly intent on restoring him and bringing to life. And given that past cases of agents in the similar situation were already being revived in the series before, there is certainly still hope that his brother may return as a valuable ally. Then we see the second secret scene, which originally follows the events of episode 107, where the Phantom Queen revealed that the Toilet Emperor was undergoing massive upgrades at the moment. Meanwhile, Verlance's agents successfully managed to restore Tri-Woman, who is now called Athena, as well as reunite her with Tri-Titan, that she was and still is madly in love with. And as her memory returns, their bond strengthens even further, and the Alliance now gains Tri-Titan as a powerful ally for their side. However, there are still plenty of concerns by me about how the Alliance may just be manipulating this big smitten fella, as he would do anything for Athena now, and I bet that the Alliance will definitely milk the hell out of the opportunities this love may provide them with. The secret scene then ends with Verlance's character himself addressing the mysterious connection between him and the Toilet Emperor, hinting at a major conflict ahead, and probably a massive battle too. And the final secret scene shifts our focus to the Necromancer, who seeks to revive a fallen Triadian warrior with the usage of the crystal still unremoved from its body, while the computer men plan to capture the Plague Toilet alive for critical intel, because he's the only one that possesses some extremely valuable information about the Necromancer. So the Alliance will need him in flesh ASAP to actually get a chance to win this war. So as we can see, both sides prepare some really heavy artillery to meet face to face. So it's inevitable that the full episode 109 will be full of insane action. And the first part is just the beginning of this all. So now let's take a look of it in detail. Okay, so the episode starts with the injured body of Camera Woman, who was nearly destroyed completely by the terrible hybrid woman in the previous episode. Our POV is still Plunger Man, who did his best to save his love before, but still wasn't quick enough to do so. So now he must be certainly feeling guilty for having her exposed to such a terrible risk. Plus, it's still not really clear whether she can actually be repaired or not. Because as the engineer cameraman also takes a look at her body, he slightly shakes his head, which can mean several things. The first one is, that camera woman won't actually make it even with all the repairs he tried to perform on her, and the hope is entirely lost. But we must also consider that he doesn't try to dispose of her body either, and the helicopter still takes her away on a stretcher. And besides, Plungerman doesn't look heartbroken after seeing the engineer shaking his head. So maybe it actually meant that she won't die? I believe that we'll see the outcome of her fate in the future episodes, and for now I still prefer to believe for the better, you know. Okay, and after Camera Woman's body gets carried away, a new objective comes to Plungerman's database, which is to capture the plague toilet alive. And why the Alliance has to get this guy alive exactly, I already explained to you in my analysis of Season 25. But meanwhile, Plungerman also has another task he has to deal with. So he gets into position with his old, big cameraman fella. Some regular cameraman also approaches him and gives him the second plunger to fight with. And then he also pats us on the shoulder as if he was saying, "Hey pal, I know you're grieving what happened to Camera Woman a lot, so good luck on your vengeance and please stay alive in there." And as the big cameraman flees towards the plague toilet objective, Plungerman kind of decides to fly off his course. Because no other than the hybrid woman turns out to be behind his back again. But he catches this immediately and tries to pinch her down with one of his plungers, but she's way too quick to fall for that. Now Plungerman has another opportunity to deal with the freak that hurt his lover, and I'm afraid it won't be easy. So as hybrid woman catches his plunger, she says, "Wow, such a bold attempt. We've been watching you for quite some time, Plungerman. You truly are an extraordinary specimen." And during this speech, Plungerman starts experiencing all the painful flashbacks once again, as hybrid woman starts torturing his mentally. Meanwhile, the freak continues by saying, "Watching you suffer as I took her from you was a gift that just kept on giving." And that was the last straw, all right, as Plungerman literally cracks the ground beneath his feet in fury and launches onto the hybrid woman with no desire but to destroy her. And even though their powers clearly aren't equal, this ain't stopping him in the slightest. So he actually manages to strike her several times and also shoot her with the energy beam from his core, even though it seems like he already got captured by her claws in there. But of course, the hybrid woman is way too strong and requires much more than that to pass away. She strikes Plungerman from above as a mad Dark Souls NPC, and it turns out that Plungerman actually uses this risky moment to pierce her with his spiky plunger, and there is her blood all over the place now. But unfortunately, that is still not enough to defeat her, as hybrid woman sarcastically says, "Impressive, but you should have gone for the head." And yeah, well, she is actually not wrong here. Then hybrid woman prepares to finish us off completely as if we're in the Mortal Kombat game or something. But after that, something totally crazy happens instead that saves our once again. Another female character emerges out of nowhere to help us deal with this freak, and it turns out to be the upgraded microphone woman. Wait, but what the hell are you even doing here, lady? Didn't you switch Skibidi multiverses or something? Okay, but the most important thing here is that she actually saved us in the perfect moment, and I will be forever grateful to her. But unfortunately, that even didn't stop hybrid woman from her horrible yapping about how Plungerman could have also become a part of the Necromancer's new glorious empire. Got his eyes truly opened and all that crap. And thankfully, the microphone woman had the exact same reaction to her babbling as I did while listening to those speeches for the first time. So, W to you, sister. Okay. But just as I prepared to see both ladies fight with the ridiculous amount of upgrades, hybrid woman actually decided to pull a coward move and hide behind her plague toilet Appa, leaving both Plungerman and microphone woman alone. Plungerman visibly tried to attack the new gigantic enemy, but microphone girlie seems to be well prepared for this encounter, so she stops us and allows her huge shield to do all the work instead. Then she takes us away from the plague doctor, because it is obviously the job for the bigger boys than us too. So she gets us to safety and orders us to hide inside. But Plungerman couldn't resist the opportunity to see what happens to the plague doctor next. So as it turns out, those shields he was attacking so relentlessly were in fact belonging not to the microphone girlie, but to R.I.P, Titan, which got upgraded like crazy by now. We can hear him menacingly say, "Your life is ending today, Plague. I am your judgment." And first of all, let me just say that it sounded cold as hell, and I got literal goosebumps as I heard it for the first time. And then we can see his blades literally cutting the plague toilet like freaking butter. And by the way, do I even have to mention how it's entirely justified for Sonar to be that mad at the plague toilet? After all, he was the one who made Sonar Titan infected in the earlier episodes of the series, so of course, it would be logical of Sonar to desire some absolute revenge against him. And this whole conflict instantly reminded me of episode 70 of the original Skibidi toilet, where Titan Speakerman also was incredibly mad at the scientist toilet and wanted nothing but to see his slow and painful demise. So yeah, Sonar Titan definitely forgot about the objective to capture the plague toilet alive, because who even cares, right? He has his own motivations there, even though it crosses the plans of the entire Alliance. Okay, And after that, Sonar literally stomps his opponent into the ground like a Chad he is, and all the Plague's attempts to fight back look just hilarious and pathetic at this point. And in fact, they anger Sonar Titan even more as he roars, "I'll make you pay for your sins. I'll send you back to hell in 1,000,000 pieces." And while saying so, he actually tries to cut the Plague Toilet in 1,000,000 of tiny particles, so I guess he wasn't in fact exaggerating here. But just when it was the time for him to deal the final blow, Sonar gets suddenly stopped by no other than Titan Cameraman, who literally drags him away from his opponent while yelling, "Stop! We need him alive!" And even though he was completely right about that, I'll still say that it wasn't really wise of him to leave the Plague Toilet alone, and now you'll see why exactly. But meanwhile, we're still focused on the two Titans' conversation, where Titan Cameraman tries to convince Sonar to stay more cold-blooded and focused, despite all the troubles the Plague Doctor had caused on him in the past. He also says that if the objective about capturing the Plague Toilet alive won't be met, the Alliance will simply lose everything, including the outcome of this war, which is already hopeless enough. And in response to that, Sonar roars like crazy, "I already lost everything." And even though I understand all the feelings that Sonar is currently going through, I cannot omit the fact that he literally sounded like a mad crybaby in this scene, and he even refused to obey his friend's orders, which was, certainly a choice. So he approaches the Plague Doctor lying on the ground slowly and says, "Now watch as I take your meaningless life, scum." Well, whatever you say, bro, because this toilet's life definitely is not that meaningless for the Alliance that ordered to bring him to them alive, you dumbass. But as it turns out, the Sonar's loony decision doesn't really have any weight to it either, because the Plague Toilet is very far from being defeated by now. So at first, he sarcastically notes to Sonar how mistaken he is, and it is in fact his turn to watch the inevitable, while the Plague Doctor will take what is rightfully his. And then the atmosphere starts to be pretty damn spooky, while the Plague Doctor also adds, "You are already lost." And after that, we see a huge green explosion that literally blinds us for a couple of seconds. And when we finally come to our senses, we see the microphone woman again, who definitely doesn't look happy at all. Whatever plans both Sonar and Titan Cameraman had, but they went horribly wrong, and now we'll see why. So as the explosion dust finally settles down, we both eavesdrop on the conversation between the hybrid woman who appeared again and the new freaking form of the Plague Toilet, and we'll talk about it in detail really soon. So hybrid woman says, "They fell right into your trap, Master, just as you had anticipated." And after these words, we actually see the new Plague Toilet's body, and oh dude, he literally looks like a freaking Elden Ring boss or something like this. And if he's also just as strong as the bosses from this game, then I'm afraid that the Alliance may already be cooked, and their plans about capturing the Plague alive will be unobtainable at this point. And by the way, I found it both sad and hilarious how our poor engineer cameraman fella turned out to be right on the middle of this heat. What an unlucky guy. And then we can hear the Elden Plague Toilet agreeing with Hybrid Woman about the successful trap, but he also adds that the Alliance's Titans are still strong enough, which he found really impressive. But he also notices how weakened all of them are at the moment, so it will be no problem for him to hold them off, as the Hybrid Woman will be in the search of another key to the administrators. To which she responds that all she needs is someone who knows about the location of the camera key, and in this moment, Elden Plague Toilet looks right into our soul and says, "It seems they have brought themselves right into our feet." And on this terrifying note, the first part of episode 109 ends. It's clear to me that Elden Plague Doctor will definitely use Plungerman to help find the camera key, which means that our POV still has the chances to stay alive. And it is also likely that the Titans will be kept alive too, because the Necromancer will surely want to infect them all and make them a part of his army due to their strength and resilience. And that was all for today. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you will not miss my new videos, and also to my Discord where you can contact me directly and get lots of info for my subscribers only. And that was me, isotoilet. See ya!